All three Bardstown Origin Series products are now available, so it's time to see which one's the best. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So that's right, all three Bardstown Origin Series products are now available with the drop of this rye whiskey, and we've completed the lineup. To tell you the truth, I think all of these are really great whiskey. I've done a review on all of them, so I'll link to that up here. But spoiler alert, again, I think they're really good stuff. What are we looking at here and what's going to be part of this lineup? We've got their regular old bourbon with rye content in it. So it says here, and all of these are 6-year age statement, by the way, which is great. The mash bill here is 60% corn, 36% rye, so high rye, and 4% malted barley. For around 40 bucks, I believe, is the price point on this bourbon. Then we've got the bottled in bond wheated product, which obviously is 100 proof because it's bottled in bond. Mash bill here is 68% corn, 20% wheat, and 12% malted barley. It's pretty high there on the malted barley and good wheat content. Price point here is around 50 bucks. And then we've got the newest release, the rye, which is actually finished in toasted cherry wood and oak barrels. So that is super interesting. Again, 6-year age statement, and the mash bill here is 95% rye and 5% malted barley. So very high rye, very classic mash bill there. So we're gonna compare all three of these whiskeys today. You might be wondering, why are there 4 glasses up here? Well, I thought we'd throw a little extra flair into this competition and also give a little bit of an outside reference point to compare these 3 Bardstown products to. So in this lineup, we are also going to include Blanton's. Single barrel product, so a little bit of variation in the different bottles, but overall it's a high rye whiskey with somewhere around 6 to 8 years old, so not too far off in age, and proof point is really similar to these other ones with a 93 proofer. The regular old bourbon is 96 proof, the bottled in bond again is 100 proof, and the rye is also 96 proof. So wanted to throw Blanton's in there just to get an outside reference point and see if any of these whiskeys end up being better than the bottle with the horsey on top. All right, without further ado, I'll clear these off and we'll dive into the blind matchup. All right, everybody, we've got the full lineup set up here. We're just gonna go from A to D and taste through in this direction. I am gonna start with the nose and then we will go to the palate. So let's dive in. Glass A on the nose. Nice. Very bready. Some Danish or like a pastry note in here. Good vanilla, caramel. A little bit of a darker like espresso or chocolate note too. Definitely some like earthy qualities. But really jumped out with that bread note. Maybe like a darker fruit, like a dark cherry. Nice and soft, basically no ethanol presence to speak of. Very nice. I really like that. I think that that is surprisingly bready and jumps out of the glass. Really solid start. All right, let's go to glass B. Slightly similar, like a little bit of a bready quality coming here too. A little bit more muted though. Maybe a little bit more of like a citrus. Some vanilla and honey as well. Maybe a little bit more of a punch or a spice here. It's not quite as soft in profile. Ooh, yeah, I got a little bit like of a brown sugar, vanilla, maybe like an apple fruit kind of note here. Okay, maybe sharing a similar DNA there to glass A, but certainly took it in a little bit more of a citrus, slight spice direction. All right, let's go into glass C on the nose. Ooh, okay. Different. Jumps out with a floral quality. Some vanilla here as well. More of a spicy, fruity, floral nature. It's got cherry on it, an apple. Maybe some nice honey here as well. But that one presents more floral and earthy and fruity. Potentially speaking of rye, but we're not going to make any judgments yet. And let's go into Glass D, last but not least. Ooh. Definitely the most muted. Not jumping out of the glass as much. There's a subtlety to it though, like some vanilla, a little bit of that honey. Slight woody characteristic. Maybe a little touch of spice. A little bit of ethanol as well. But yeah, that one just, compared to the other three, that one much more muted and subtle. Not necessarily a bad nose, but definitely did not jump out of the glass. I would say that Glass A and Glass C are the most prominent and powerful noses with the most distinctive notes. Glass B is somewhere in the middle, like not super prominent, but certainly has some flavor. And then Glass D to me was the most muted, most subtle. But if I'm leaning toward anything right now, it's either Glass A with that bready, pastry, dark fruit kind of note, some earth qualities there with the espresso and chocolate, or Glass C with that nice, powerful floral punch, some earth notes there too, but really nice fruity quality there too. All right, let's go into the palate where we're gonna get a lot more information. Just before we do that, I do wanna say, if you're enjoying all the content coming out of the channel, would love to have you aboard if you haven't subscribed already for the whole journey through 2023. While you're at it, hit that like button, turn on notifications so you know when I drop new videos, and let me know in the comments below. What do you think is going to come out on top, and what is your favorite Origin Series product so far? All right, Glass A on the palate. Cheers. That's really good. Wow. A lot of the nose transferred over. It is like French toast, like nice, dark, rich cinnamon, nice brown sugar notes, maple syrup in there. That dark cherry comes through as well. A little bit of an espresso note. It's just really nice and rich. There is a good spice that blooms up too, but it's smooth. It's got vanilla as well. Really nice, creamy mouthfeel as well. That is everything I'm looking for in a whiskey in terms of a nice, dark, good sipper with rich depth and complexity. Yeah, that's a great start. That's gonna be hard to beat. Let's get some water. All right, let's dive into Glass B here. Cheers. Okay. Different. Not as deep, kind of like what I got on the nose. There's a little bit more of like a honey and orange peel citrus quality to this one. Some vanilla, and it is spice forward. This one comes forward with more aggressive spice, whereas Glass A had kind of a blooming, rich cinnamon spice. This one has more of a in-your-face rye baking spice kind of note. Pretty solid overall. Not quite as deep in flavor, but a nice punchy whiskey, and the finish sweetens up really, really nicely there. That reminds me, I mean, I'm not trying to guess here, but Blanton's and the high rye Bardstown are similar in profile to me, so that could be either one of them. Interested to see. Let's get some more water, and let's dive into Glass C. On the palate. Yeah, there's a good amount going on there. There's a strong floral quality. I always struggle to describe floral natures to it, but it really pairs well with like a honey note that's in there as well. And then there's more fruit here, but lighter, brighter fruits than like the dark cherry I was getting on Glass A. Here we've got bright cherry, bright apple, and we've also got like a woody quality. Not quite a deep dark oak, but going along with those bright fruit notes is like a bright, I don't know if it's like pine, something woody and a little bit earthy, so a little bit brighter there. But a really nice sipper and has a good amount of spice on the back end as well. All right, that one's really nice. That one brings a lot of flavor to the table, just like Glass A was on the nose and Glass C was on the nose. They're both bringing lots of flavor to the table, which I'm really enjoying. Last but not least, let's go to Glass D, get some water. And Glass D here on the palate. Cheers. Okay, interesting. That one has more of a woody quality as well. Not quite as pleasant as Glass C, just a little bit off-putting to me, honestly, in its woodiness, but it has some really great flavors in there. It's got this like candied orange and vanilla creamsicle kind of thing going on that I'm really enjoying. It really sweetens up. Honestly, that's the big note I get, like especially on the finish, is this like creamsicle note. A little bit of spice in there as well, a little bit of honey. But overall, I think that one actually has just the least amount of flavor notes for me to pick out. But that could all change as we continue to go through. What I'm gonna do now is go from D to A, give it a fair shot that way. I'll probably do some A-B comparisons to figure out my final order, and then I'll let you guys know what comes out on top. All right, everybody, I've gone from D to A, reverse order. I've done A-B testing, and I've got my final order here. Here's a quick update on how some things have changed and progressed. Glass A and B both have developed a little bit of a nutty quality, a little bit of a hazelnut in there, but I actually like that and enjoy that quite a bit. Glass C continues to be very punchy and bright, a little bit darker though over time, with some of those qualities opening up, a little bit more of a brown sugar note developing, which I really like. A little bit of butterscotch, great. Glass D continues to be a little bit thin for me, a little bit flat, but it does still have that really nice sweet creamsicle, orange, honey, vanilla core to it. That's very enjoyable with a little touch of spice. Overall though, I've got my order, so let's dive in. In a pretty clear fourth place for me was Glass D. Again, it just was a little bit thin, and compared to the others, did not present as many flavors. The flavors it did present I liked, but overall, kind of lackluster in this lineup. Let's see what that was. Wow. Blanton's. I'll tell you what, guys. I like Blanton's. I usually don't have much negative things to say about Blanton's other than it's a little thin, which I felt here today. But compared to these other three whiskeys from Bardstown, it just fell flat in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to bash it, because I think it's well worth going out and trying to pick up a Blanton's for yourself, especially around MSRP for 65, 70 bucks. Good single barrel experience. It is stark how much thinner and less flavor there is in this bottle today, at least for my palate, than these other three whiskeys. All right, let's go into the other three, because now we've got Bardstown on the table, which is showing up and showing out, and some fantastic flavors here. For me, third place here was, again, pretty clear. It was, from the beginning, Glass B, just a little step down from the others. Good spice, but kind of aggressive with that spice. A little bit of that nutty quality started coming through, which is good. Had a lot of similarities to the Blantons, but just more presence to it. That was, yeah, that's what I thought. Just the regular old high rye bourbon. So you can go out and pick up the Bardstown Bourbon Company high rye bourbon for 40 bucks. And today, I would say it was a big step above Blanton's. That just speaks for itself. All right, last but not least, we've got the winner and second place. These were a step above. These were phenomenal. So we've got two great options here, and these sort of fought for first place in my head, but ultimately I had to pick one. For me, in second place was Glass C. Loved the floral presence to it, loved how it developed and got a little bit darker. Those fruit notes are great, but Glass A was the clear winner with that depth and richness to it. So Glass C was, yep, that is the rye. So finished in that cherry wood and toasted oak. Really nice woody presence as well. I enjoy so much of it, but it just was a half step below this, which is the wheated bottled in bond, which I have been in love with since I got it. Man, does that have such good flavors on it. It's like a bakery with pastry, dark espresso notes, rich brown sugar, cinnamon spice that blooms, dark cherry, like so rich and soft on the mouth with great mouthfeel. Again, I think all three of these Bardstown just have a great mouthfeel, and it made Blanton's feel thin in comparison. All right, everybody, that's my full lineup here. That's my full results. I do think that this is kind of how I would expect it to line up in my head, but I wanted to do it blind just to find out for myself. I really want to sing the praises of this wheated, and other people have too, because it deserves it. It's really, really good. I am surprised that Blanton's came in last, especially to the regular old high rye from Bardstown, but that is a really good product too, and the rye is a standout product. I highly recommend, if you're a fan of rye, going to pick that up as soon as you can. Okay, everybody, let me know. Are you surprised by the results? What is your experience of the Bardstown Origin Series so far, and what are you liking or not liking from the series? And then, of course, if you want to throw in Blanton's and where you think that would fit in this lineup for you, would love to hear your opinions on that as well. Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers!